Lesson 6. Tales Euwin Heinsberg-Gruen was a renowned art collector who had a remarkable collection of paintings by celebrated artists such as Picasso, Braque, Klee, and Matisse. Many people admired his art investing skills, but the reality was that he purchased a massive quantity of art and only a small portion of his collection was valuable. Despite being wrong most of the time, Berggruen was still able to achieve tremendous success. This is because anything that is huge, profitable, famous, or influential is the result of a tail event, an outlying one in thousands or millions event. The same principle applies to the venture capital model, where investors expect most of their investments to fail, a few to do reasonably well, and only one or two to drive the fund's returns. Similarly, in the stock market, most public companies fail. A few do okay, and a small number generate extraordinary returns, recognizing that tails drive everything. In business, investing and finance means that it's normal for many things to go wrong, break, fail, and fall. When you accept this fact, you understand that the key to success is not avoiding failure altogether, but managing risk and exposure to tail events. Lesson 7. Wealth is what you don't see. The psychology of money summary wealth is often misunderstood as simply having a large amount of money or assets. However, it's important to recognize that wealth is not just about what you have, but also what you choose to do with it. It's the financial asset that hasn't been converted into material possessions or experiences. It's common for people to express a desire to be millionaires, but what they really mean is that they want to spend $1 million. In reality, spending $1 million is the opposite of being a millionaire. The true difference between being wealthy and being rich lies in the way in which people utilize their resources. Those who are rich are often visible through their flashy displays of wealth, such as driving fancy cars and living in large homes. They typically have high incomes, which enable them to spend freely and indulge in their desired luxuries. However, true wealth is often hidden and not as immediately apparent. Wealth is the accumulation of income that is saved rather than spent. It's the optionality, flexibility, and growth that comes from having resources available for future use. Wealth allows individuals to have the ability to purchase things when they need or want to without the stress or pressure of financial constraints. Lesson 8. Save money. 3 types of people past a certain level of income. Those who save, those who don't think they can save, those who don't think they need to save. In personal finance, your savings rate trumps your income or investment returns. The amount you save is within your control and can have a significant impact on your financial well-being. It's essential to focus on what works for you rather than worrying about others' opinions. Having more control over your time and options is becoming increasingly valuable. In today's world, money alone can't buy you freedom, but financial security and flexibility can. By prioritizing savings, you can create a safety net that allows you to make choices that align with your values and goal. Lesson 9. Reasonable rational. Room for error. The psychology of money English. When it comes to making financial decisions, it's unrealistic to aim for complete cold rationality. Instead, the goal should be to be reasonably rational. This approach is more practical and sustainable in the long run, which is crucial for managing money effectively. Over time, the odds of making money increase. This is because things that have never happened before can happen at any time. However, it's important to remember that past performance does not guarantee future results. In blackjack and poker, players understand that they are dealing with probabilities rather than certainties. The best strategy is to plan for things not to go as planned. Having a margin of safety or room for error and redundancy is essential to navigating a world governed by odds. Preparing for the unexpected is challenging because it's impossible to anticipate everything that could go wrong. However, you can minimize the impact of failure by avoiding single points of failure. The biggest point of failure with money is relying solely on a paycheck to fund short-term spending needs without any savings. To avoid this, it's a good idea to have a rainy day fund that can be used for unforeseen expenses. Lesson 10. You'll change making effective long-term plans and decisions is challenging because we are poor predictors of our future selves. What we value today may not be as important to us in the future. It is essential to recognize that individuals are susceptible to change. Sunk costs can be detrimental, as they can anchor us to past efforts and limit our future choices. It is crucial to avoid making decisions based solely on sunk costs and to recognize that what matters most is minimizing future losses. The Psychology of Money, Hindi Successful. Investing requires paying a price, but the currency is not always dollars and cents. It often involves volatility, fear, doubt, uncertainty, and regret. Many investors are not willing to accept this pricing and shy away from investing as a result. Viewing volatility as a fee can help shift our perspective and make us more comfortable with short-term market fluctuations. It takes a certain disposition to accept the price of investing, but when done with a long-term perspective, the short-term costs can be more easily managed. Understanding the true cost of investing and being willing to pay it is critical. By doing so, we can avoid being prisoners to our past decisions and instead create a more flexible and adaptable future. Lesson 11. The seduction of pessimism. Pessimism is a more common mindset than optimism, and it is often seen as smarter and more intellectually captivating. Optimism, on the other hand, is viewed as being oblivious to risk. This is because humans are wired to perceive threats as more urgent than opportunities. This asymmetry between positive and negative expectations or experiences has an evolutionary history that has helped organisms to survive and reproduce. During the 2000s, as oil prices rose, a previously unviable type of oil extraction became economically feasible. This is because adversity often drives innovation and new solutions. Threats incentivize solutions in equal magnitude, which is a common theme in economic history. However, this is often overlooked by pessimists who focus on setbacks and disasters, which happen quickly and impactfully. It is essential to remember that progress is slow and steady, driven by compounding, which always takes time. In contrast, destruction is driven by single points of failure that can happen in seconds, and loss of confidence, which can happen in an instant. Overnight tragedies are common, but there are rarely overnight miracles. Therefore, we must not be blinded by pessimism or overly optimism. Instead, we should approach life with a balanced perspective and respond to adversity with innovative solutions. It is essential to acknowledge the reality that setbacks and failures will occur, but remain focused on the long-term progress and growth. Lesson 12, Confessions. This lesson emphasizes the importance of independence in all of authors' financial decisions. Living below one's means is a key element of financial success, as well as finding pleasure in low-cost activities, such as exercising, reading, podcasts, and learning. The author owns his house outright without a mortgage, acknowledging that while it may not be the best financial decision, it provides peace of mind. The Psychology of Money Housel, the author, keeps 20% of his assets in cash to provide a safety net and avoid having to sell stock market investments in an emergency. This aligns with Charlie Munger's philosophy that the first rule of compounding is never to interrupt it unnecessarily. The author of The Psychology of Money no longer invests in individual stocks and instead puts all of his stock market investments in low-cost index funds. While some investors can outperform the market averages, it is a challenging feat, and the majority of investors would benefit from selecting a strategy that has the highest probability of meeting their long-term goals. For most investors, this strategy would be investing in a low-cost index fund. In summary, the author's financial habits revolve around independence, living below one's means, prioritizing peace of mind, maintaining a safety net, and investing in low-cost index funds for long-term success. By following these practices, readers can strive for financial success in their own lives. The Psychology of Money book review. In The Psychology of Money, Morgan Housel offers insights into how people think about money and the psychological biases that influence our financial decisions. He argues that successful investing is not just about understanding financial concepts or having access to the right tools, but also about mastering our emotions and psychological tendencies. Housel's writing style is engaging, and he uses anecdotes and real-life examples to illustrate his points. He discusses the importance of avoiding impulsive decisions, developing a long-term perspective, and understanding the role of luck in financial success. One of the book's strengths is its emphasis on the importance of developing good habits and a consistent approach to investing. Housel argues that people who are successful in managing their money do not necessarily have high IQs or access to insider information. Instead, they tend to have a disciplined and patient approach to investing based on sound principles and a clear understanding of their goals.